Close your eyes for a sec. Now imagine living in a world where every move you make is watched, judged, and erased. Where your courage, your brilliance, your very existence barely registers in history. And yet, you rise. You fight. You change a nation. Quietly, invisibly. Today, we're diving into the lives of Black women whose stories were stolen, whose names were silenced, and whose courage shaped the America we know today. What's up, folks? Welcome back to Facles, the channel where we dig deep, we pull back the curtain, and we shine a spotlight on the stories you should know, but didn't. Today we going beyond the usual names you've heard. Not just Martin Luther King or Rosa Parks, though their stories matter, of course, but the women behind the scenes, whose footprints are everywhere, yet their names? Quiet, invisible, overlooked. So buckle up, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and let's dive into the world of America's hidden heroines. When we think about American history, especially the civil rights movement, the fight for equality, the building of modern America, we often celebrate the frontline names. But here as a kicker, many of the women who made the bold moves didn't get the headline. They were silent strategists, organizers, inventors, educators, and advocates who didn't just fight for a seat at the table. They built the table. One report found that many Black women trailblazers remain overlooked heroes worth celebrating. Another study emphasizes that Black women in 19th and 20th century America often faced double barriers: racism plus sexism. So here's the deal. By shining a light on three remarkable Black women, we not just telling their stories, we rewriting a part of the American narrative. These stories will serve as a wake-up call, a truth bomb. You can really understand how America became America unless you know them. Meet Dorothy Height, born 1912 in Richmond, Virginia. She dedicated her life to tackling unemployment, illiteracy, and voting rights issues for African American women. She led the National Council of Negro Women for more than 40 years. Despite her pivotal role in the Big Six civil rights organizations, her name seldom came up in history classes. She was the first leader in the civil rights movement to recognize inequality for women and African Americans as problems that should be considered together. Think about that. While much of the public debate was framed around either race or gender, Dorothy Height insisted it was both and all. She understood intersectionality before it became a buzzword. Her story tells us, you don't always have to be the person up on the stage making the big speech. Sometimes the stage is built by someone else, behind the curtains. And the woman lacing the stage shoes, designing the lighting? That matters just as much. Now let's shift gears to someone whose legacy affects millions every day, though most folks don't know her name. Mary Kenner. She invented the first sanitary belt in the 1950s, a precursor to modern sanitary pads. But here's the kicker. Her invention got delayed 30 years in getting proper patent recognition because companies balked once they found out the inventor was a Black woman. Imagine designing something that millions of women rely on, and still your name is invisible. That's the kind of injustice we're talking about. Mary Kenner's story reminds us, innovation doesn't just happen in labs or boardrooms. It happens in kitchens, in small towns, in the quiet resilience of someone who says, we gonna fix this, even if no one is watching. She said, essentially, be the change you don't see. For millions of women, her work changed comfort, dignity, everyday life. Yet her story? Barely taught. Let's talk about Claudette Colvin, March 2nd, 1955, a high school girl in Montgomery, Alabama. 9 months before Rosa Parks, she refused to give up her bus seat. At age 15, she was arrested. But guess what? She didn't get the fame. She didn't get the front page. Because sexism, and because too young, didn't fit the narrative. Her act of defiance helped set the legal groundwork for the landmark case Browder v. Gale, which ended bus segregation. Yet, her name? Not widely taught. This shows something raw. History chooses the faces it wants, but the real movement? It's made of countless unsung figures like Claudette. Impulsive, brave, unseen. You might be thinking, okay, cool stories. But so what? Here's the deal. These stories matter because they connect to right now. They're not dusty relics. They're blueprints. Activism today, around education equity, wage gaps, representation, has deep roots in what these women fought for. When Dorothy Height fought for literacy and voting rights, she laid groundwork for the conversations in today's America about systemic inequality. When Mary Kenner fought to invent and innovate despite racism, she showed that creativity isn't owned by the privileged. And when Claudette Colvin refused to sit down, she told us, protest works even when the world's not ready to cheer you. In a time when Americans debate whose story is America's story, when they ask, who counts as American? Then these women answer, we all do. They force us to ask, why do some names vanish? Why do some stories stay in the shadows? And what happens when we bring them into the light? Let me pause for a second and speak to you. Yes, you on the screen. Maybe you've ever felt invisible. Maybe you've ever created something, stood your ground, but still felt the world overlooked it. These women stood there too. They felt the same sting. They felt the same doubt. They had to wake up every day and fight not just their external world, but the internal voice that said, you don't belong here. So here's what I want you to take away. You belong. Your story matters. Your fight matters. The world needs the part of you that's been hidden. All right, we've journeyed through the lives of three remarkable black women whose names you should know, but probably didn't. Dorothy Height, Mary Kenner, Claudette Colvin. Each one a pillar. Each one rewriting history from behind the scenes. If you found this video eye-opening, I've got a challenge for you. Go look up one black woman in American history whose name you've never heard. Share her story in the comments below. Tag someone. Let's turn visibility into action. And of course, if you haven't yet subscribed to Facles, hit that button now. Ring that bell so you get notified. Because next week, we dig into how the women of the Red Summer 1919 changed America. Yeah, you heard me right. Thanks for watching. Stay curious. Stay bold. And remember, history isn't just what you've been taught. It's what you discover.